Welcome to Make Things Happen with Diana Pagano. I came from struggle, living life on survival mode, and later found myself living in that same vicious cycle. Life is meant to be so much more than settling. My life changed when I learned the power of your mindset and how it applies to every part of your life. I'm a business leader, speaker, and author. I have made it my life's mission to share all the tools and techniques that changed my life because I know they will for you too. All your hopes and dreams really lie in the how. How are you making things happen? Are you ready to stop dreaming for what could be and turn those dreams into reality? I thought so. Well, get ready to live life on your terms. Hello and welcome back to Make Things Happen with Diana Pagano. I'm live in London with beautiful Karen Hanlon. She is an art therapy practitioner and I had the honor to meet you, Karen. I mean, this is crazy. We both came as keynote speakers to Global Woman in London in 2024. And I'm so excited to be here with you. Thank you so much for joining me on my podcast out here.
Well, thank you for having me. I couldn't be more excited to be on your podcast. It's
Thank you.
A wonderful opportunity to
Absolutely.
share.
So, Karen, you spoke about painting your soul. I mean, just that title alone was so moving, and just uncovering all the things that you went over on stage was so touching. I think you even had some people with some tears when you shared your story. So talk to me about the journey of what painting your soul really, when it began and how it came about.
Painting your soul came quite organically, and it was something that I started doing myself when I went through a difficult transition in my life. I started pulling out a journal daily and I started painting daily. I kind of did it together, and it really helped me. And I didn't expect that, but it was kind of became my daily regimen during a very stressful period. I added in essential oils, positive affirmations, and then eventually, finally, meditation. What I created was a meditative art process, and then I named it Painting Your Soul, because what I realized is when you are painting with color, you're kind of having a conversation with yourself. So it's about communication and finding yourself through color, and that's what happened for me.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. So it was all through your own pain is what you shared.
I turned my pain into purpose, and I decided to find it over the years and begin doing workshops for other women that were going through transitions in their lives. And it became quite popular that I started doing it in different states, California, Utah. I became so busy with it, it was almost hard to kind of be everywhere that they needed me to be. Oddly enough, I had someone call me from a hospital who was terminally ill, and she said, I really would love to come to one of your workshops, but I'll never be able to make it. And I just wish I could do that. And I said to her, her name was Gretchen, I said, I will create a workshop for you, and I'm going to put it in a box, so you just have to open it in your hospital tray, and I will have the easel, the paint, the journal, the essential oils, and the meditation, and you just have to follow the steps, and you're going to feel like you're at my workshop.
Oh my goodness, that's
Believe
amazing.
it or not, she actually did this with her nurses by her side, cried, calling me. This was life-changing. Thank you so much. Then I realized I had something big that I just uncovered through her inviting me to go there. So I realized I have an idea that I needed to pursue, which was the Painting Your Soul Art Therapy Kit. And that is where the new product took off. And this, again, became something, I didn't expect this. This just kind of came organically, but when I started creating these, I was able to get these into people's homes that weren't able to get out. People that had a difficult time in recovery were able to use these and take them home. I used this with doctors and nurses going through COVID times. I sent them up to New York City for the frontline nurses and doctors that came from my area up to New York, and I sent them to their hotels so that they could do this to decompress on their own.
Wow.
And it just started taking off like that.
So it's not just for patients, it's for even providers.
It's for providers.
Especially with all that's happened, especially even with COVID, with a lot of frontline nurse and staff just feeling overwhelmed. They're actually using this as well.
Yes, I've been to nurses' offices and doctors' offices, and the doctors have used it, and the nurses.
Wow.
And their patients. Clinicians, psychologists use it for a tool for them with their clients to help enhance their progress. So it's become a tool individually that you can do on your own, but also a tool in tandem with someone else's care.
With somebody else. Okay. Oh, awesome. So
Right.
they can do it while they're caring
Yes.
for somebody.
Correct.
That's amazing. It sounds like this can go global and can do so much for so many people.
It seems that it's going to head that direction, because when I came to the summit this weekend, I realized we had people from all over the world
Right.
coming up to me asking me to go to their country and please provide this to their country. Now I'm invited to Germany to put it, these kids are going to a doctor's office in Germany, and I've been invited to Greece as of this
Amazing.
weekend.
Wow.
I have a doctor back in the States that's using it. He's a chiropractor, and he's going to be incorporating these kids in his practice as a tool to help the emotional side of things. As we get the physical down, we're forgetting about the emotional side, and we need something different. We need something in addition to what's out there, because I think we're struggling with a lot of anxiety right now, and
Of course.
depression, and people are struggling to find something that might work better for them.
Absolutely.
So because I developed this a while back, it seems to be ready for the times.
Absolutely. So talk to
Yeah.
me. When did you develop this?
Back in 2013,
Wow.
if you can imagine.
Okay.
Again, it was when I was starting it myself.
Okay.
So this went on for a good year before I went into any kind of workshop. You know, I just did this in pretty much at least 3 days a week. It was just step 1, step 2, step 3. The step 1 is journaling.
Journaling.
So you write down your feelings, just how you feel in that moment, and you're making that connection. And
Making
I
that
had
connection.
journals stacked to the ceiling. Never
Yes.
read them.
Yes.
It wasn't about analyzing what I wrote. I just had to get it out.
Get it out. Just write
get
it
it
down.
out.
So therapeutic to be writing down how we feel.
And the journal was very powerful for me. So I understood that to be, as time went on, I realized, not reading about journaling, I was like, this is very profound. But with the painting, you're releasing 2 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
The painting I did because I used to always try to do something creative when I was younger. If I was having a
course.
difficult time, I kind
Right.
of gravitated to that. It's what I taught my students when I was a teacher. They would always have an art corner to go if they had a hard time with anxiety. And so I kind of did that naturally.
Amazing.
But the painting, I realized, letting go through color was very powerful. And it's not about artistic ability at all. It's about just letting go. And the way that I did the steps are such that when you journal, that's your first step,
So the first step
is journaling.
is journaling.
Then you take the essential oils,
Second step.
you breathe it in for a few minutes and just start getting calm.
Okay.
The goal is to get calm before you hit the canvas.
Before you
'Cause
hit the
people
canvas.
get anxious thinking, I can't paint, I'm not an artist. So
Right. So
I'm
you
wiping
get them.
that all away.
I love that. Love that. Clean slate.
Clean slate.
Calm
right.
them down.
Calm them down. And then I have them read the positive affirmations that I had on my mirror that I read daily for quite some time. And I put
To
it
yourself.
to myself.
Okay.
To offset the negative self-talk I had, to offset with positive.
Right.
And use the positive words. Didn't necessarily feel those things.
Right.
But I knew I was planting seeds.
100%.
Right.
It's interesting when people think, oh, positive thinking, affirmations, it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
When you're doing it, it becomes a habit.
Right.
And even when you feel delusional, I'm like, I'd rather you think that you're delusional,
Right.
but just keep saying
Yeah.
it, and eventually it'll
Yeah.
become your reality.
Right. It's a seed planted.
So that's step 3,
Yes.
is you're having affirmations.
Correct. And I have them go slowly through each line. I'm enough. I can do this. I'm
Love that.
strong.
Yes.
And then just close your eyes and imagine yourself being that.
Being that.
Yeah. So then I go and take them into a very nice guided meditation for about
Okay.
10 minutes, where they get to close their eyes and relax, and they're guided through
they're guided
meditation
through.
with music. And then they're guided into painting. So they don't have to think about what they're painting. They won't know.
Okay.
So there's no thought involved. I'm taking them out of their analytical mind,
Right.
and bringing them into their heart.
Oh, I love that connection.
Heart connection happens, and then the canvas, the paintbrush is the heart link. Goes right to the canvas, and I tell them how to begin, so they're not questioning when do I begin.
During meditation?
During the meditation,
Okay.
it gives them the prompt. They're prompted during the meditation
Okay.
how to begin, and then they start going, and then they start with one stroke, right? That's the hardest one. After
first
that,
one.
they're kind of in the zone, almost like daydreaming. It's similar to daydreaming, so that you're kind of in reality, but you're kind of also relaxed and kind of
Relax and in
that
a
moment.
meditated state, but also
Right.
I love that. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. You said the first step is your hardest one. Oftentimes in my workshops, I say your subconscious mind is so used to the bad habits, even the good habits. They're all
Right.
there. It's habitual. And they always say science and research has shown that your first step is your hardest step, regardless of what you're looking to do.
Right.
And then there's science and research has shown that you're likely to do the second, and then even likelier to do the third.
Right.
It's just getting that first step out of the way.
Right.
And sometimes it could be a big project. It could be that goal that they feel
Right.
scared. And you mentioned it so beautifully. Like, the first step's the hardest thing, but you're intentional
Right.
with the oils. You're intentional with the meditation to
Right.
get them, and you're kind of moving them into this journey. I love that. Love that.
I'm
So
holding their hand till
Yes.
they get to the canvas.
Exactly.
That is the reality. I want to get them there because that's where the magic happens.
That's where the
Once
magic
they get there, they're calm, they're in the present moment, and they are out of the monkey mind.
Yes.
That's gone, and that's where you
You've
get
cleared
clarity.
their thoughts. Yes.
And the final thing after painting's done, and that lasts about 45 minutes.
Okay.
The music continues. The meditation is, my voice is gone, but the music continues through the whole time you're painting. But when they're done, I have them pick up their journal again and then write how they feel now.
Oh, I
So
love
that
that.
starts with journaling
Starts
and ends with
and
journaling.
ends with journaling. And there's music.
Yes.
So you have this music
The
the whole time.
The whole time. So it's an
love that.
experience that you don't forget.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of books you can read. I've read them all during that time too. And I learn from experience sometimes. I'm very hands-on and very visual, and so I produced something that worked for me, which was using all your senses. And when you use most of your senses, it leaves an impact.
Absolutely.
And so what I realized is I was helping get through a difficult time, but also finding parts of myself that I had lost. So I didn't realize it at the time. That's what I was
I love
doing.
that.
But over time, I realized, looking back, wow, I'm evolving through doing this.
I love that.
And that is when I realized this is bigger than just painting. This is evolving and
This is evolving and transforming, yeah.
finding myself again. Who is this person before this time frame, and where are we going?
And I love that, because I think that one of the things that I do as well is that how I empower somebody, how you're empowering them and inspiring them with your kit, they have it in them.
Oh, sure.
It's just a matter of how do you get that out of them.
Right.
And so when you mentioned evolving, it's not about just the painting, it's the whole experience.
Yeah.
And you said it so beautifully, and how they come from a place of wherever they're coming from, whether it's anxiety, whether it's some sort of negative limiting belief, maybe they're mad, they're resentful, which is just harping on their, just holding them back. And so the journaling is intentional in the beginning. You put them through the states that you are, and then you end it with the journaling. So that's awesome. We do evolve as humans, right? So tell me, when you first started your journey, and I know before you did the kids, you went through some pain. Can you tell us a little bit about what you were doing before this happened, before you discovered how you kind of went through pain and gave yourself the therapy through painting? You kind of painted your soul.
Right.
So you went through the motions. You are that person
Yes.
that picked up that kit.
I'm the person that picked up that kit, and I created it for myself, putting the oxygen mask on me first.
Yes, I love
Before I
that.
put it out on anyone else.
Exactly.
I had to and at the time, again, I wasn't planning to make this into anything other than what helped me.
Yes.
It was just simply to get me through the day so that I was, I would be okay, and it grounded me.
So how did you know? What was that moment? I'm really big with moments like that inspired you to say, I'm gonna start painting. I mean, it sounds like you did different things, right?
Different components came in at different times. The first two pretty much right away with the journaling started. That was my first journal. The painting came in second, but not far apart.
Okay.
When I started doing both of those, I decided at that point, before the other components came in, I thought, well, this is really helpful. I know what I'm going through is very painful, but I do not want this to take me down. I will not, and I will take what I go through and I will make this my purpose, my mission.
Yes.
This will be my calling to help others get through a difficult time. At that point, then these other components I started adding to the process, and then shortly after the meditation part, because I never really used a meditation before until this, didn't really have to.
Wow.
So I had to pull out of a hat different things that I learned about, and once I finally had that process, I went into, I'm going to do a workshop. And once I did that first workshop, I said, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life.
I love that.
This
That
is
was
it.
your thing. So I know you mentioned, and for people watching and even listening, you mentioned something that really sticks with me. You said, I was determined that this was not going to take me down. I love that. That's perseverance. That's saying, grit, I'm going to get through this. You will not take me down, whatever you were going through. Where did you find the courage? Were you always that strong and determined?
Part of me, yes. I think that's part of me. My DNA, my makeup is, I got that from my parents.
Okay.
I give both of them credit for both being like that. And I was taught never to give up. And so that was drilled into me. So no matter what I was in, whether it's good or bad, don't give up. Just keep going. Something good will come from it. That's what was always kind of told to me growing up. And immediately I went to that direction. I said, this is going to be okay. Whatever this is, I'm going to get through. But I'm going to need to work hard to get through it. And nothing's easy when you're going through a turbulent time.
Right.
And you have choices at that point to make. Your choice is to choose to go to positivity, or you choose to let go and go the other direction. And there was never a choice to go that way. My choice was always, this is going to be something. I will come through this. And I'm determined with all of my being to come out the other side, however long this takes. And it was a four-year journey of very difficult time that I had to get through. So this is why this was so nailed down, and the workshops were so important in my life because they helped me heal as I was healing others at that point.
Amazing.
So my determination spilled off into the workshops, and they felt that, right? And they weren't giving up because I wasn't. And at that point I knew there's no stopping, there's no turning back, because I see the benefit of going forward and helping others. And it just seemed natural to me. I'm a teacher by trade. I used to teach school, so I think that teaching part of me came back pretty quickly, and I realized, well, I'm a teacher now in a different way. Now I'm teaching adults going through some difficult times, and I'm there because I felt that was my calling.
You went through those difficult times, and you said the journey was like a good 4 years, and get yourself where you are now.
Right.
That's amazing. I know a lot of people think, oh, you're so successful, you're a speaker, even myself, and of course for you. They don't see the things that you go through and the sweat and tears that it took to get here. And even now, it doesn't mean that we don't have challenges, we don't have problems. We just know we can't stay there, or you're gonna fester. It's gonna become a thing. Fight through things. You never give up, and you get through it.
Right. And I think you briefly mentioned coming on stage and speaking.
Yes.
To be honest with you, when I was asked to speak, I was a little nervous. The only group I've spoken in front of are students and my workshops, which were maybe 50 people.
Okay.
And so I took on that, and I went, am I ready for this? And sometimes you just have to bypass the fear. This is what I teach, so I had to do it myself in this case, and fly to Europe by myself.
Yes.
Take my 10-year journey and present it to the world stage, which was beyond anything I could have ever imagined. I went up there and spoke from my heart. And I did not memorize my speech.
No.
And I got up, and you were there to witness that. I told my story, and I wanted to be authentic with everyone in there so that they could feel vulnerable to let go.
And you were.
Thank you very
You
much.
did a beautiful job, and I couldn't believe to hear that was your first time speaking.
That was my first time speaking.
In front of an audience. You did an amazing job, and everybody felt that authenticity.
Yeah.
And I always tell my team, I can't do a script. I just want to speak from the heart, and you know this stuff so well. I love that you shared that you felt a little nervous coming to Europe by yourself, but you did it anyways.
Yeah.
And you conquered. Maybe you had some fear, and I just want people to know that regardless of what you're doing, regardless of the journey that you're living, and just because you're the expert in maybe anxiety doesn't mean that the expert, even with anxiety, doesn't have anxiety themselves.
Oh, I did.
It's just knowing what to do now, knowing what's in your toolkit. Right?
Exactly. And what's great is when you can overcome it once, you can do it again and again and again. So this was you've done it before, Karen. You can do this again. This is big, and you're gonna do great like you've done before, and each one gets easier.
Yes, I love that you said that. And I always say that we do things twice. So even though you've never come here by yourself, there's something that's happening in our brains, right? But there's all these neural pathways when we're thinking a certain thing. So when you're with your kid, when you do meditation, which I'm really big on, by the way, is meditation. It has helped me through so many things, and even allowed me to feel more confident when I felt like I wasn't, or even anxiety. But when you're visualizing and you're meditating, whatever that thing is, if you say, I want to climb Mount Everest and I'm scared, but I've always wanted to do it, whatever it is, you imagine it. And all of a sudden, when you finally do it, your brain recognizes it as you've been here before.
Right.
And that becomes so much easier.
Yes.
So I love that you said that, because it is happening twice.
Isn't that amazing, right? It's truly amazing how that works. And so I was very blessed to have the audience come up to me in tears.
Yes.
Surprised me. I did not expect that. I mean, I delivered the speech, but I didn't expect the crying. But what I realized is I had my video behind me. I wanted to have painting going on so they could feel
so therapeutic.
What it felt like to be doing what I teach. So once they felt that, I realized that's why they connected. It was through the paint strokes they saw behind me as I was speaking. They were able to be in that place of what I created, and every single one of them were affected, and it was just a testament to what this can do.
I know, when you were speaking, well, ironically, I went after Karen. My time to go on stage was after you. But you were going on so beautifully, and you had this music and the whole stroking of the paint. I was like so into your talk that I had to fight so bad to just get over. I'm trying to get pumped and go pump, and she's bringing me so straight. It was awesome.
I love it.
It was beautiful because I was like, you know what? Maybe I did have some nerves, and maybe that like subconsciously kind of calmed me down. And I even shared that, I think, on stage. It was so funny. So I did want to just kind of go back to what is it that you do, and I went to your booth, and then I even did some strokes myself. But if somebody's interested to learn more about Karen and all that you do with art and healing and painting your soul and some kids before they're all gone, this is, by the way, Karen is going to be a sensational, she's already going global. And I'm so honored and privileged that I got to meet her. I think we're going to be friends forever.
I think so too.
Because she's an amazing woman. Obviously, thank you so much. Where could people find you?
Paintingyoursoul.com. I sell the kits online right now.
Okay.
And we'll be ordering new ones. We're going to be doing them for teenagers and children.
Oh, amazing.
And I have the ideas for the new ones that are coming along with this. They're going to be different elements: fire, water, air, and earth.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
And they'll each have a different essential oil in them.
A different essential oil, that's awesome. So whether you are, feeling with depression, anxiety, maybe you are sick with some sort of illness, she's helped a lot of patients, it sounds like, that's going to go into healthcare, whether you're a provider. Really, it's for anybody.
It's for anybody. It's interesting. The healthcare grabbed onto it because I had doctors immediately that took it during COVID and used it themselves. The stress that was so high, emergency room doctors that found it to be very helpful, and then from there it just kind of spread a little bit here and there in healthcare and the nurses, but it's really for everyone.
And you didn't intend that.
No.
You just happened to have somebody just happened to ask you about it, and they were in healthcare.
Yes.
But it is for anyone.
My goal is to get them in hospitals, in the gift stores, or have someone, have them go home with. They can go home and heal emotionally as well as physically. I'm also working with the U.S. veterans. Their post-traumatic stress.
Yes.
I have developed a curriculum for the veterans, and they have these at home too now. So,
oh my goodness, you belong on Shark Tank. But who needs Shark Tank? You're gonna get your own deals. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. I mean, that is such a need. Right. It's not like you're saying, oh, this is a luxury. Like, we all need to heal. And I do believe wholeheartedly that healing starts from within.
Correct.
And yes, doctors are important, and your therapies and people with chemotherapy is just going to allow you to center yourself to deal with the anxiety that comes with.
It helps you receive the physical care you're getting.
Exactly.
Because it opens you up where we're so closed off. And we're not allowing the healing to come in physically, but you have to open up, and this helps you do that. That's why one of the doctors that came to me and approached me about incorporating this in his practice said, "You're the missing piece." That's what he called me, the missing piece.
You're the missing piece.
There you have it.
Exactly. It's not that doctors aren't, continue whatever you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's not to take the place of anything.
This is for you on the inside, because we don't have enough of that in the medical field, right? They're so focused on medicine and radiation. All of that is important.
Right.
But what are we doing with focusing on the inside? And the fact that you had a doctor that saw the need, and other practitioners that are seeing the need, is a beautiful thing. I think that we don't always realize as humans that it does start in our minds. It does start inside. And if you tap into that so much more, make it a practice, journaling. I have a journal that's also coming out. It's different than yours, obviously. But journaling has been a big part of my life. I've always had a journal on my nightstand. I have like 7 of them. I'd have some in my office. I'd bring some for my travel. And by the time I knew it, I'm like, oh my God, there's like 7 different journals. And I realized that when I had a journal that doesn't have legs, it just stays there. Even when I travel, it allows for consistency. And journaling has been a big part of my life as well, to be able to just your thoughts and whatever it is that you're doing. I do also have a thing for just gratitude, because I do believe when you are, putting yourself in that state of gratitude, you're going to receive more. But love so much what you're doing, Karen. This is such an honor to have you, and I'm so inspired. We all were inspired when we saw you on stage. My kids were inspired, and you're not going to believe it. Last night we were going to bed, and I caught them on video. I'll show you after, but it's on my phone, and you're going to laugh. My 10-year-old and my 8-year-old, wait, you're going to see Karen? And I'm like, yes, the painting your soul lady.
That's what everybody call now, the painting your soul lady.
They said that. And so I definitely want to get some kits for them. And you met them briefly in the lobby.
Right.
But I'm so excited. You're doing amazing things. And I think you deserve all the success out there. You have such an amazing gift.
And I do want to say one last thing. You can accomplish anything. I did not start out to have a business. I was a stay-at-home mom and took care of my kids, and
amazing.
With time and evolving through what I created for myself first, I ended up a CEO, founder of a business, distribution center. I've learned business like I've never learned in my life. I didn't know I had this in me. So there's so many gifts we have inside. What this does, this process helps you find your own gifts.
I love that.
Is everything about finding you and your best self.
Finding your own gifts. You know, my 10-year-old asked me, Mommy, when did you find your gift? I said, my love, I didn't always know my gift.
Yeah, we don't.
I realized it later. He said, am I too young to find my gift?
Oh.
What would you say to a child that says that?
No.
Help me out, because I'm like, I don't think that you're too young, but you'll figure out life.
Right.
You're evolving at 10. I'm different now in my 40s than I was at 30. So what would you tell somebody, whether they're 10 or older? I don't know my gifts.
Well,
How do I find that?
That's such a pivotal age. This is where sometimes we shut down. And this is what I was telling the audience the other day is, do you remember a time where you were not judged to be expressive? And at this age, the children are so expressive, and I would have them say, just continue being expressive, be yourself, and don't let anyone shut that down.
Love that.
Because if you can continue that, you'll find your gift. But when we shut down, then we go years. We're not even ourselves. So the kids, my goal is with this is to keep the kids expressing without judgment, without fear, because that's where they find their gift.
I love that. That's so important. And you said that this is such a pivotal age, especially around this age 10, whether it's 8 or 12, whether they're being judged at school, right? And there's all that. And what you say is, don't let that ever stop you from expressing yourself.
Right.
Because when you're afraid to express interests of something because you'll be laughed at, or this is exactly what 20 and 30 and 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds go through sometimes. They're not pursuing what they know they have this calling and fire because of what are they going to think of me?
Right.
I was there once upon a time.
Same with me. And we all go through it, but if we can keep that childlike way that they are at 10 and keep them there, they won't lose that.
They won't lose
what
that.
we have the trouble with, when we lose it, we lose 20 years of who we are sometimes, and we have to dig deep to find that again, but we don't want to lose that to begin with.
Right.
So keep it open, keep that expression open, and creativity is necessary more than ever right now, and we're losing that.
It's so important.
So I'm trying to bring it back through this avenue. What touched me and what I realized to go along with what you just said is the audience was so moved to tears and what they said to me coming up to me afterwards was, I found a part of myself, you touched my heart that I thought I had forgotten years ago. I miss painting. I haven't done it in 10 years, and you brought that love back for me. Or a few people would say, you opened up something in me that I'd lost.
Yes.
So really, what I gathered from the audience is they were all looking for something, and this opened them up to find that again.
100%.
Yeah.
Everyone has it, but they don't realize it. And you bring it out through this. Also, self-discovery.
Yeah.
Because you're going through a process and you don't even know what you're going to get into, but you got to trust that it's somewhere beautiful.
That's the thing, is trusting.
Right?
We don't trust our gut.
We don't trust enough,
We've
no.
lost the ability to trust our intuition.
Yes.
I struggled with that early on.
Okay.
And this helped me. But trusting the first color you put on the canvas, knowing, don't disregard
Don't
that. Whatever
question
color
it. Don't
comes to mind,
second guess it. Just
go with it. And then at the end, they're always amazed with what they paint, because their words, I didn't expect that. I hear it all the time, and they're like, wow. They're
like, I did that?
mesmerized. And the unexpected is what's really special about this. And they're delighted by what happens. And most of them are very thrilled with their, how it goes. But I let them know this isn't to be analyzed. Red does not mean mad. No color means anything. It's what it means to you and how you felt as you did it.
How you felt as you did it.
That's it.
We're so conditioned. Red's a strong color. It could be negative, but just go with what you feel at that moment, and it's a safe place to just.
When you put it on your wall, which I encourage them to do, or set it somewhere so they have a representation of that moment they connected. Because that's the moment they connected with their soul.
And then can they do this again?
Yeah, they can do this as many times as they want to. The directions are in the kits. It can be reused many times, and they can just keep using it like I did for years.
So do you still do the painting?
I do.
Or the 6-step process?
I do. I do it usually at least, I would say once a month.
Okay.
I try to.
Yes.
And it does help
You're a
ground
busy
me.
woman, of course.
It's
I love
part
that.
of my life, and
I
have
love
the affirmations. I put this in a frame in the kit, but I have them right by my bedside.
Okay.
So I read those, and I continue to do it. I use the oils, and but the painting's always been a part of. I used to do them on the floor. I used to put my hands in it and just get in it all.
Just get really creative with it.
Now there's always painting going on. I have them stacked in my garage.
Great.
So
that's great. I love that you still do this, because this is a testament to the audience watching. Make Things Happen podcast, obviously, with Diana Pagano, is all about empowering all people from all walks of life to make things happen in your life. So you don't need to be broken. You don't have to be depressed. If you are, well, then you came to the right place. If you feel anxiety, this is another tool to add to your toolkit. It's going to enhance your life. It's going to bring so much out of you from the inside, which we just discussed today. But even if you're making things happen and you're on top of your game and you're so successful, you're not too successful, or you don't have it so much together that this won't be for you.
Correct.
I mean, I'm a fan and I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do it when I'm alone, just kind of in a more calmer space. Because even I have so much from the inside that maybe needs to come out. And creativity, you said, I mean, I've had people tell me there's not any art programs in my kids' school like it used to be. And I feel like we're losing a lot of that.
And I think that's why I brought that up the other day on stage, is what Deepak Chopra said, is we are losing our creativity. And he's very serious when he says, if we're not careful, quote unquote, we will be sleepwalking ourselves into extinction, because we do not have enough creativity happening. And if we're not using our creative mind, we won't have a mind to use.
We won't have a mind to use. Yeah, that's very true. And you're adding so much value to keep that alive, keep creativity alive. And it doesn't matter if you're even a 5-year-old, obviously to some degree help them journal, but 5 years old, 80 years old like my mom, I can't wait to share this with her.
I've done it with 3-year-olds.
And you've done it with 3-year-olds, okay, or 3-year-olds. It's something can you do this with the whole family? Can you sit there and just kind of do it with the family?
Yes, during COVID I was delivering these to families. They would sit down, and it was easy because they were in kits.
Okay.
So no, I didn't have to be there to facilitate it. They just followed the directions.
Okay.
And whoever wanted to can
go
through them. But I had family members doing this together during COVID.
I just got inspired. We also run a translation company, and just another team building.
Right.
Maybe you have a team that you want to do this with. I know that I want to do this with my team, and put a bunch of kids in a conference room and have people just do this thing, right? I think that would be amazing. I have
groups that do it corporate.
Yes.
And they do it for team building. They did it for Mental Health Month and that kind of thing. Certainly that helps enhance it. Any group can do this.
Thank you so much, Karen, for coming to my podcast, Make Things Happen with Diana Pagano here in London. It's been such a pleasure, and I'm so honored to have met you, and I know we're going to be friends forever.
Yes, we are, and I'm so grateful that you brought me on. What a pleasure it was to talk with you about painting your soul, and thank you again for letting me share.
Of course. My pleasure. If any of you have any comments or feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Make sure you put your comments below. Make sure to subscribe, and for you listeners, I am looking forward to my next episode, so stay tuned.
Thank you. Yay, that was fun.
Thank you so much.